This video will show you how to use soft slabs and a foam cushion to make plates. I call them CPR plates because the movement of making them is like a chest compression. They can be any shape, like this round one, but we have molds in the studio for these square plates, and we also have molds for rectangular plates. I don't have an example. I do want you to notice that the edge is tapered, and that makes it easier to press down and not have your slab break. These are a good thing to do if you're interested in surface design, like this one says eat off my plate, but you don't have to. I sometimes texture the slab before I do a CPR plate. Other people prefer to make the plates and then decorate them. If you don't want to draw your own patterns or use the pre-made wooden molds in the studio, you can go online and find shapes you like. I have found from experience, though, that sharp corners like these sometimes rip when I press. And so what I did was round the corners and then I cut out my shape. You can use a smooth slab or you can stamp the slab. I have one of the commercial stamps with the pin tool in it so I can roll designs. You can also use stamps that you've made yourself. Stamps are a great way to get designs quickly into your surface. It's a lot less work than carving, and we have a lot of commercial stamps. So I'm being a little bit random here just because I want to get slab ready for the video, but if I were making plates that I was going to keep, I'd be more thoughtful with placement. Someone rolled a leaf into this one. If you do want to roll plant material in, put it vein side down and you'll get a stronger impression. One reason I like to texture or stamp the slab first is because then I can decide where to place my pattern. I can find my favorite area of the slab to place my template down upon. So if I'm doing this, I'm going to grab a fettling knife and very carefully, while the slab is soft, I'm coming around and cutting this out. And I'm not going to worry too much about the edges yet because I'll need to let it set up before I refine the rim. Whoops, a little big, so I'm coming around. And then when I do the square plate, instead of holding the knife perpendicular to the table, so I'm trying to do perpendicular means at a 90-degree angle to the slab. My piece right here. I'm going to place my wooden mold down. I'm going to actually angle it out slightly. I'm going to try to hold it at a consistent angle, and then I'll have a little extra rim. So that's 1, 2. I'm intentionally making it larger than I need it, and that way I can use a Surefire blade and refine it once it's set up. Okay, so you'll see when I take the scrap away that it's not a perfect square. I'm not going to worry about that just now. With this process, it works best if you cut out 4 to 6 shapes and then do them as a series. Then you won't be tempted to rush and you'll end up with the set of plates you can stack in your cupboard. When you're ready to go, you want to take a piece of foam like this. I'm going to place it down and I have my square slab. If I'm using something that is not porous like this, I can just place it in the middle, trying to center it from above, and I'm putting my hands on and I'm just pressing once fast, straight down. You can see that the pressure brought the edges up. So I'm going to lift it diagonal corner by diagonal corner and put it on a board on the side. If I have something that I want to use to press that is not porous, like this plastic jar, because I think it would look good in the middle of that shape, then I need to put plastic between this, otherwise the piece will stick. So I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to look from directly above, or bird's eye view, and center the circle, and then I'm going to press down again. Now, in this case, I made a very dramatic shape. It's almost like a bowl. You can flare it out a little more later. Okay, and I've got a little ring because this had a curved ring. That might be good if I want to make a foot that locks in. And you might think this is huge, but the clay we're using in the studio shrinks almost 20%. And I have one more, and I have a piece that's misfired, so this is great. It's even got a beveled edge from someone's undercutting. And I'm going to place that. And I'm not going to press as hard this time, so there's less flare. So I like that there was a slight undercut because I have a more subtle transition from the flat area to this. Okay, now these are too soft to refine at this point. I do need to fix the edges, so what I'm going to do is put them in the hot box for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to refine them with the Surform blade. This is a Surform blade. It's a great tool for refining edges. If you look closely, you'll see one side has a straight edge and one side has a curved edge. And what you want to do is hold it. If the straight edge is on your left, then you're going to pull it to your right. And it shaves away these little curls of clay that you want to make sure don't end up on the floor. So when your piece is almost leather hard, you can use the Surform blade to trim it down, which is why I wasn't worried before that these weren't even. Like there's a gap between, there's a difference between this and this. I would just shave it down until it was even. And then for final refining, I would take a little water. I have a sponge here that's damp, and just go over it with my fingers to soften the edge. So sometimes a Surform blade isn't going to be the tool you want. Getting these out of the way. So for example, for my little flower plate, I might find that it works best to just use a little water and gently pinch and shape the edges. So I'm going to hold this up. There's a cut edge from the slab, and I'm not really a fan of the cut edge, so what I'm doing is I'm pulling my hands slowly together to begin rounding the edge. And if I have a soft rounded edge, the glaze will adhere better. So I have a couple plates, which is good because if you start to refine and it's too soft, you might ruin it. So it's best to start one, move on to another, and then come back to the first one when it's set up a little more. Okay, so those are CPR plates.